You back to 2011, a time when difficulty in video games apparently didn't exist, and Miyazaki had just blessed us with the very concept and ruined online discourse forever with his breakthrough title, Dark Souls. This game changed everything, no doubt, but how many of you played Dark Souls 1 on release? As the number of games in the series expands and the popularity and fanbase grows, the number of people that played this game on release dwindles in comparison to the massive success of later entries like Elden Ring. While Dark Souls 1 was my first game in the series, I did not play it on release. Over the years, it is generally accepted that while Dark Souls 1 is an awesome game, it has several flaws mainly attributed to a rushed development. What if I told you this game had so many flaws on release, they had to severely tune up several different aspects of the game to make it as enjoyable as it is today? This video will show many of the original design choices and oversights that players experienced on day one of the release of Dark Souls 1. But how did I get that authentic experience? Well, if you'd like to do this yourself, you need either an Xbox 360 or a PS3 and a disc version of the game. Make sure you delete all save data and go offline so you don't update it, and there you go, the day one version of the game. But yeah, I played the unpatched PS3 version of the game, which is very rough since the performance was really bad on release, but I chugged through it for your enjoyment and education. One last quick note before we get started is that this video will not be a one-to-one comparison of the original release versus the final patch or the remastered version. So if you'd like to see a good list of all the patches the game had, I've included a link in the description. I just chose the ones that were more interesting for the video. Oh, and for the sake of convenience, I will be referring to the Day 1 version as Original and Final Patch version as Definitive. With all that out of the way, we can begin. We start out in the asylum, and performance issues aside, we can tell that we were playing the original release just by lighting the bonfire. Several texts were changed from "You lit the bonfire," "You revived to human," "You recovered," and "You defeated," to "Bonfire lit," "Humanity restored," "Retrieval," and "Victory achieved," respectively. With broken grammar out of the way, once I'm in Firelink, a couple of changes stand out immediately. First is that the body on this well gives us only one humanity instead of 3 you'd get in the definitive version, and leveling up is kind of odd as it doesn't tell us how many souls we need for the next level, just how many we'll be spending on it. Rather odd, but I figured I'd go with my tried and true method of rushing Pinwheel first. And while the run to his arena is business as usual, I immediately noticed something huge. I summoned Leroy to help, and he seems severely underpowered compared to what he would become. So I guess they had to buff the phantoms in general. I confirmed this when I fought the Moonlight Butterfly, and Beatrice did way less damage. Interesting that they felt the need to beef up the summons later. Anyways, back to Pinwheel. We almost died, but we're able to grab the victory. Now we can get a reward of 3,000 souls! For those of you who don't know, Definitive Pinwheel gives 15,000 souls. This is a common theme for the original version of the game. I'm not kidding. The amount of souls enemies and bosses give you in this version was so bad, they had to increase the souls you get by a lot. The gargoyles usually give you 10,000 souls for your troubles. Here though, 1,500. Yeah, if you're wondering if this sounds like a slog, I can tell you it absolutely is. While the gameplay itself is still fun and enjoyable, getting the levels you need feels like an absolute chore to play, and I'm glad they made the changes they did. However, it's not all bad. In fact, we've got our first piece of equipment that was much better originally. I got the Father Mask this run. All the masks Pinwheel dropped were a bit better, which is nice. Anyway, let's get out of here using the... Oh. Yeah, it seems like something we take for granted now, but bosses don't really drop humanity or homeward bones. This quality of life improvement means we'll either have to get out of here manually or using the dark sign and losing the little amount of souls we have. Anyways, let's move on. Making my way to the bird.
Well, homeward bone is for cucks anyway. Boop, boop, boop.
Here I'm getting flagged down by